Hello, my name is G-Bud and welcome to a little building tutorial. So, usually when people first start in Minecraft, they'll end up with something that looks maybe a little like this. You know, just a square box, nothing too special about it. Now, this is fine. This is all fine, but I've cleared off the roof, so now I can actually add on another layer, because when you're building something, the bigger it is, the easier it will be to actually detail it. So now that you've expanded your box and made it bigger, what you want to do is come to the side, and now you can choose any block you really want, but I usually go with the same sort of color palette.
Now remember, this is your world. You get to make and break the rules here.
Alright, so now that you've done that, just come across with these and sort of box it off here. There you go. Okay, so now you have something that looks sort of like this. Now, the reason for doing that is to add a little bit of depth to the wall. So one trick that I've learned is when a wall is too big for you, you can actually use this framing method and you can break it up into smaller pieces. One thing I like to do on the outside is kind of put in a few details here and there. Now you can choose what you want to put. Some people will put, I don't know, like windows and fancy stuff like that. I don't know, I like to just change it up here and there and do a little something. So what you want to do is go ahead and just do that around on the sides, just sort of fill it in. This one will be a little bit more simple. Just blocks going across the top there. And same thing on the other side. Because remember, balance is key in building. So this step is important because it adds that layer of depth that I was talking about before. So I usually try and just copy the other side so it kind of balances out, because you don't want to have one side that looks different than another. Okay, just fill that in, and then you put a couple of these, make that simple. There you go. Now you have something that looks a little bit better than a box, right? And, you know, you can actually take this a step further. Now, bungalows are great, but what it's really about is that two-story house. And you can come through in the middle here and kind of open up a window. There you go, you have a nice big bay window for the upstairs. So once you've added on that second story, what you can do is come on through here and frame this up as well. So basically what you want to do is leave one space, like one block, away from this level, or you could even build on it and kind of build an extension outwards. It's really up to you. But you want to fill this in and make it the same height as the level below it. Now you have something that's looking a lot better than just that box at the start, right? But we're not done. Now you're going to come through here, and same thing like the bottom, put in a little design. Just going to slap some stuff here and there. Maybe we can even, we can put another window there and another window there, because, you know, light is not a bad thing. So on this back one, I'm actually going to do something a little different. I know I said to keep things the same, but hey, sometimes you can break the rule and it ends up looking not so bad. Again, this is how I build. You guys can choose whatever blocks you want. You know what? Instead of that being a window, let's make this a balcony. Come through with these, so you know you don't fall off your new balcony. You can even slap on a couple of these. This will add a little bit more depth to it, and makes it look like everything is like, you know, crisscrossing like an old cabin style. So then you can take your fences, you can plop them along the sides here. It adds a little extra to your build, makes it have a little bit more depth. And these will be useful in a second, because I'll show you why. Let's add a few windows in the front. Might as well, right? Help you see out. So after you framed it out, added in your windows and whatnot, you can come in and connect the levels. Okay, so once you've got that down, you can come into the top here and just seal it off. Now you can use slabs or whatever you want. So you can come in here and now that you got your stuff looking all fancy, you want the interior to look just as fancy. Alright. So now that you've got all this looking pretty nice, you can come along and switch out to the block that I didn't actually grab. Oops. So what you want to do is come through now and just fill in all your windows. Now you can use any color you want. I'm just using these because, I mean, it looks pretty cool. I like the stained glass look to it. Now one use for trapdoors is shutters, and I really like the way the spruce looks around the windows. So we'll just go ahead and do that. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so now that you got all your shutters in place, your build is looking, you know, almost complete. Now, there are countless types of roofs you can build, but I'm going to be showing you a pretty basic one. This one I like to use on a lot of my builds, and it's not too hard. So what you want to do is, the front of the house, always leave that side open. And we're going to put blocks there instead, and you'll see why in a bit. It will come up a level, and then put in a few more things here. Alright. Now you got something that looks a little like this. You can go ahead and just fill in the front here. Okay, so since this house is actually a little shorter, I'm not going to make the roof too pointed, and I'm actually going to seal it off here. And you're going to come out one level. Just boink boink. There we go. Okay, and let it hang off the side there a little bit. And we're looking pretty decent. We're just going to continue to bring them down and around the build. Okay, and then we're just going to go along the top with these, like that. So what you want to do is come along to the bottom here and replace all these pieces of wood with a little bit of stone. Now what this does is makes it look like there's a bit more foundation, you could say, beneath it. Makes your build look stronger, I guess. Now what you need to do is mod proof it a little bit, and that's where these come in handy. So another little tip you can do to make your roofs a little bit more interesting is just every so often you just hit out a block and replace that with a full one. Now that's a house that will impress most people, and it looks a lot better than the box you started with, don't you think? Now when you're building, again, make sure it's big enough. A build this big is very hard to detail on the inside because of its space limitation, but it is possible, and I'll probably do another video on that. But for now, thanks for watching. It really means a lot. Don't forget to like it, subscribe it, all that good stuff. It really does help out the channel, and I hope you guys have a really good night.